The ideal human being is supposed to love company, enjoy being social, get energy from crowds and talks and being around others all the time. We're told that if you don't enjoy having people over, if you prefer being alone to being with others, then something must be wrong with you. You must be broken somehow. You must need fixing. But here's the interesting truth. The people who feel most uncomfortable with visitors often understand something deep about the nature of energy, about how the self works, about the special quality of space. They're not running away from life. They're protecting something precious. They're respecting a truth that the always social, always available, always entertaining crowd has completely forgotten. Your home is not just four walls and a roof. It's not just a place where you keep your things and sleep at night. Your home is you. It's the physical form of your inner world. Every room, every corner, every quiet space shows some part of your mind. And when someone enters that space, they're not just walking through a door. They're crossing into your soul itself. Don't think about it. When you come home after a long day of wearing your social face, playing your different roles, being the employee, the friend, the responsible adult, what are you really doing? You're returning to yourself. You're taking off the mask. You're letting down the guard. You're finally breathing. Your home is where you stop acting and start being. And then the doorbell rings. Suddenly, you have to put the mask back on. You have to turn on what I call the social self. That version of you that knows how to make small talk, how to be pleasant, how to play the good host. Even in your own safe place, you're forced back into acting mode. Is it any wonder you don't like this? Is it surprising that something in you pulls back? But let's go deeper. Because the discomfort you feel about visitors isn't just about keeping your energy or protecting your peace, though those are perfectly good reasons. It's about something more basic. It's about the way you're built at the deepest level. There are basically two ways human beings relate to the world. Some people get energy from the outside. They're recharged by contact, by activity, by being around others. You put them in a room full of people, and they light up like a Christmas tree. They feed on the external. The world outside fills their tank. But others, and maybe you're one of them, work in exactly the opposite way. Your energy comes from within. You'll recharge by being alone, by silence, by not having external demands. The world outside doesn't fill you up. It drains you. And your home, your private space, is where you go to refill the well. When you understand this, the whole picture changes. You're not being difficult when you don't want visitors. You're not being antisocial when you prefer an empty house to a full one. You're simply respecting the way your particular instrument is tuned. A violin doesn't say sorry for not sounding like a drum. A river doesn't say sorry for flowing downhill. And you don't need to say sorry for needing alone time the way others need company. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Your resistance to visitors might also be telling you something about the state of your inner world. You see, we all carry around what I call the shadow. Those parts of ourselves we haven't fully looked at. The feelings we've pushed down, the fears we've buried, the parts of our personality we've learned to hide because they weren't acceptable. And when someone enters your space, especially if you're sensitive, especially if you're paying attention, this isn't being rude. This is your mind trying to protect itself. Your unconscious knows that you're not ready to have certain things disturbed. You're still sorting through your own inner landscape, and having another person there makes that work impossible. Think of it this way. Imagine you're working on a very delicate puzzle. You've got all the pieces spread out. You're starting to see the pattern. You're making connections. And then someone comes in and bumps the table. All your work gets scattered. You have to start over. That's what visitors can feel like when you're doing the deep work of understanding yourself. But there's another side to this that hardly anyone talks about, the symbolic side. Your house isn't just a physical space. It's a symbol of your soul. In dreams, when you dream about a house, you're dreaming about yourself. The mask we wear in company, the social face we put on, this isn't false exactly, but it's not the whole truth either. It's a necessary adjustment. The living room is where you present yourself to the world. The bedroom is your private space, your vulnerable side. When someone crosses your doorstep and enters your home, they're entering sacred ground. They're stepping into the temple of your being. And if you're someone who takes your inner life seriously, if you're someone who's trying to know yourself, to understand your own soul, then having visitors can feel like an invasion. Even when they mean well, even when they're people you love. Because the work of becoming yourself, the real work, happens in private. It happens in silence. It happens when you're alone with your thoughts, your feelings, your questions, your fears. It happens when there's no one to perform for, no one to please, no one whose expectations you have to meet. And this brings us to something important. The mask we wear in company, the social face we put on, this isn't false exactly, but it's not the whole truth either. It's a necessary adjustment. Who decided that the ideal human being is always available, always open, always ready for company? The truth is, some of us are built for different work. Some of us are meant to go deep rather than wide. But when we wear it too long, when we wear it even in our own homes, we start to lose touch with who we really are underneath. Every time you welcome a visitor when you don't really want to. Every time you smile and make conversation when what you really want is silence. Every time you act friendly when your soul is crying out for alone time. You're leaving yourself behind. You're choosing the comfort of being socially acceptable over the truth of your own needs. And here's the trap. You've probably been doing this for so long that you feel guilty for wanting to be alone. You think there's something wrong with you. You think you should enjoy having people over. You should be more welcoming, more friendly, more social. But who says? Who made that rule? Who decided that the ideal human being is always available, always open, always ready for company? The truth is, some of us are built for different work. Some of us are meant to go deep rather than wide. Some of us are meant to know a few people very well rather than many people on the surface. Some of us are meant to spend long times alone, not because we hate people, but because being alone is where we do our most important work. There's an old pattern, an ancient story that appears in myths across every culture. The hermit, the wise person who lives alone, who retreats from society, who finds wisdom in being alone. This figure isn't a failure. This figure isn't someone who couldn't make it in the world of people. You see, we live in a time when people are drowning in constant activity. Everyone is always available, always connected, always responding to what others want. The phone rings, the messages pile up, the duties multiply. That part of you that doesn't want visitors isn't being difficult. It's answering an ancient call. It's following a path that leads inward rather than outward. It's listening to a voice that says, be still, be quiet, be alone. Because only in that stillness can you hear what your own soul is trying to tell you. Now, I'm not suggesting you become a complete hermit. I'm not saying you should cut yourself off from all human contact and live in a cave. Balance is needed. Connection is beautiful. Relationships matter. But what I am saying is this. Your need for being alone is not a problem to be fixed. Your resistance to visitors is not a character flaw. Your desire to protect your space is not selfish. It's wisdom. You see, we live in a time when people are drowning in constant activity. Everyone is always available, always connected, always responding to what others want. The phone rings, the messages pile up, the duties multiply, and people wonder why they feel exhausted, scattered, lost. They've forgotten how to be alone with themselves. They've forgotten that the soul needs silence, the way the body needs sleep. When you feel that resistance to having visitors, when you want to keep your door closed, when you prefer an evening alone to an evening of entertaining, you're not rejecting life. You're honoring it. You're saying that your inner world matters, that your peace matters, that your energy matters. You're saying that you will not give up yourself for social expectations. And this is an act of courage because the world will tell you you're wrong. Your family will tell you you're being difficult. Your friends will say you're antisocial. But deep down in that place where you're completely honest with yourself, you know the truth. You know that when you're alone, you're more yourself than you ever are in company. You know that silence feels like coming home. You know that being alone is not empty but full. The people who drain you with their visits, who exhaust you with their presence, who make you feel like you have to perform even in your own home, they're not bad people. They're simply living according to a different rhythm. Their instrument is tuned differently. They need what you don't need. They thrive on what drains you. And that's fine. Let them have their parties, their constant companionship, their busy social lives. But you have permission to choose differently. You have permission to say no. You have permission to protect your alone time like the treasure it is. Because here's what nobody tells you. The world doesn't just need the social butterflies, the outgoing people, the constantly available. The world needs the hermits too. The world needs people who go deep, who think long thoughts, who sit with difficult questions, who aren't distracted by the constant noise of social duties. The world needs people who know how to be alone without being lonely, who can find richness in silence, who can sit in an empty room and discover that the room is actually full. Your discomfort with visitors is pointing you toward your true nature. It's showing you that you're not meant to live on the surface, skimming along from one social interaction to the next. You're meant to dive deep. Don't call yourself antisocial or difficult or broken. Listen to what that resistance is telling you. It's telling you that you need to protect your inner world. It's telling you that your energy is precious. And when you honor this, when you stop fighting against your own nature, when you stop feeling guilty for wanting to be alone, something amazing happens. You become more real. You become more present. When you do choose to be with others, you're truly there, not scattered, not drained, not wishing you were somewhere else. You can give from a full cup instead of an empty one. But to fill that cup, you need silence. You need space. You need your home to be a safe place, not a stage. You need time when no one is asking anything of you. When no mask is required, when you can simply be. So the next time someone wants to visit and you feel that familiar resistance rising up, don't judge it. Don't call yourself antisocial or difficult or broken. Listen to what that resistance is telling you. It's telling you that you need to protect your inner world. It's telling you that your energy is precious. It's telling you that being alone is not selfish but sacred. You are not required to open your door every time someone knocks. You are not required to be available, helpful, always welcoming. You are allowed to keep your space for yourself. You are allowed to say, not today, not now, maybe not ever. And anyone who truly cares about you will understand. Anyone who respects you will honor your boundaries. Anyone who sees your worth will not demand that you give up your peace for their comfort. Your home is your temple. Your alone time is your practice. Your silence is your teacher. And the part of you that doesn't want visitors is not a problem. It's a guide. It's showing you the way home to yourself. So close the door if you need to. Turn off the lights. Let the phone ring. Sit in the quiet. Listen to the sound of your own breathing. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Notice what comes up when there's no one to perform for, no one to please, no one whose needs come before your own. This is where you find yourself. This is where you become whole. This is where the real work happens. And it can only happen alone. The world outside will always be there asking for your attention, demanding your presence, wanting a piece of you. But the world inside, your world, the landscape of your own soul, that requires protection, that requires boundaries. That requires you to sometimes often say no to the outside so you can say yes to the inside. This is not escape. This is not avoiding. This is not fear. This is returning to the source. This is remembering who you are when you're not trying to be someone for someone else. This is the sacred work of becoming yourself. And if that means fewer visitors, less entertaining, more evenings alone, then so be it. Because in the end, you have to live with yourself far more than you have to live with anyone else. You are simply someone who knows that the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And that relationship requires time, space, and silence to grow. Your home is not a public space. The more comfortable you become with being alone, the more genuinely you can connect with others. The more you honor your need for silence, the more present you can be when you do speak. So the next time you feel that tightness when the doorbell rings, that resistance when someone wants to visit, don't apologize. Don't explain. Don't justify. Simply honor what you know to be true. You're showing up as you truly are, full, grounded, clear. And that kind of presence is rare. That kind of realness is precious. So trust the part of you that doesn't want visitors. Trust the wisdom of your resistance. Trust that your need for being alone is pointing you towards something essential about who you are and what you need to thrive. You are not broken. You are not difficult. You are not wrong. You are simply someone who knows that the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And that relationship requires time, space, and silence to grow. Your home is not a public space. Your energy is not community property. Your time is not there for the taking. These things belong to you and you have every right to protect them. So the next time you feel that tightness when the doorbell rings, that resistance when someone wants to visit, don't apologize, don't explain, don't justify. Simply honor what you know to be true. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is close the door, turn the lock, and sit in the silence of your own company, because that's where you're most at home. That's where you're most yourself. That's where you remember what matters. And what matters is not how many people you entertain, how social you appear, how available you make yourself. What matters is whether you're true to your own nature, whether you honor your own needs, whether you protect the space where your soul can breathe. The hermit with the lantern walking alone through the night, he's not lost. He's finding his way. And the light he carries isn't borrowed from anyone else. It's the light of his own understanding, discovered in being alone, grown in silence, protected from the wind. That light lives in you too.